Grand Ascension. How's everyone doing this morning? It's me, Carolyn Denise, better known as Baby Girl Slaughter. Wanted to do a short reading this morning. If you've had a chance to check out the video I did yesterday afternoon, if you haven't had a chance, please go over to YouTube or Facebook and check that video out. It's just shy of an hour. I think it's like 59 minutes or something like that, where I'm doing a reading for you guys over Murder of Reality, Hidden Symbolism of the Dragon, and also Flying Serpents and Dragons. I will come back on later this week to finish up that chapter that we were reading over in Flying Serpents and Dragons. This morning, I wanted to share something with you. Fabrice Must Know, shout out to him. He did a video over a great compilation over several videos over this book called Beasts, Men, and Gods by Ferdinand Ossendowski. This person here. Okay. I have the physical copy of the book. He was reading to you on screen. So for a more extensive video, I would highly recommend you guys go over there and subscribe to his channel. I just wanted to read something to you. This is part 5 and it's at the very end of the book, which is the meaty part to me. It says, Mysteries of Mysteries, the King of the World. Now, again, he pulls it up on screen, so he's reading it to you, and you can see it for yourself. I'm just going to read this to you, and I just want you to sit back and listen. If you're in traffic, if you're driving, if you're working, just put me on play and just listen. So it says, I'm going to jump down to where it says, now this goes into the monks and the monks in Tibet and in the Tibetan teachings and the writings, the hidden mysteries. We talk about the city that's underground, better known as Argotha. And there's reported openings in the Grand Canyon. How do you get to Argotha from the Grand Canyon? There are several openings, okay? One obviously is in Tibet, but I just want to read this to you, and I want you just to listen to what it says. I'm going to try to get down to read one part. So let me see. I'm just going to start. Let me drop here. Everything in the world, said Guillaume, is constantly in a state of change and transition. Peoples, science, religions, laws, and customs. How many great empires and brilliant cultures have perished? And that alone which remains unchanged is evil, the tool of bad spirits. More than 60,000 years ago, a holy man disappeared with a whole tribe of people under the ground, and even appeared again on the surface of the earth. Many people, however, have since visited this kingdom. Saki Mani or Undu Gigahin, Papsa, Khan Babar, and others. No one knows where this place is. One says Afghanistan, others say India. All the people there are protected against evil, and crimes do not exist within its bounds. Science has there developed calmly, and nothing is threatened with destruction. The subterranean people have reached the highest knowledge. Now it is a large kingdom. Millions of men with the king of the world as their ruler. I'm going to say that one more time. Listen to my words. Now it is a large kingdom. Million of men with the king of the world as their ruler. He knows all the forces of the world and reads all the souls of humankind and the great book of their destiny. Invisibly, he rules 800 million men on the surface of earth, and they will accomplish his every order. Invisibly, he rules 800 million men on the surface of the earth, and they will accomplish his every order. Prince Sultan Bail added, this kingdom is Agartha. It extends throughout all the subterranean passages of the whole world. I heard a learned Lama of China relating to Bogda Khan that all the subterranean caves of America are inhabited by the ancient people who have disappeared underground. All of the subterranean caves of America are inhabited by the ancient people who have disappeared underground. Traces of them are still found on the surface of the land. These subterranean peoples in space are governed by rulers owing allegiances to the king of the world. In it, there is not much of the wonderful. You know that in this two greatest oceans of the East and the West, there are formerly two continents. They disappeared under the water, but their people went into the subterranean kingdom. In the underground caves, there exists a peculiar light which offers growth to the grain and vegetables, and long life within disease to the people. There are many different peoples and many different tribes. There are many different peoples and many different tribes. An old Buddhist Brahmin in Nepal was carrying out the will of the gods and making a visit to the ancient kingdom of Yatsen Siam, where he met a fisherman who ordered him to take a place in his boat and sail with him upon the sea. On the third day, they reached an island where he met a people having two tongues which could speak separately in different languages. They showed to him a peculiar, unfamiliar animals, tortoises, and 16 feet and 1 eye huge snakes with very tasty flesh, and birds with teeth, which caught fish for their masters in the sea. These people told him that they had come up on the subterranean world. They had come up on, let me repeat that one more time. Sorry. They had come up out of the subterranean kingdom and described to him certain parts of the underground country. The Lama Torgat, traveling with me from Ugar to Peking, gave me further details. Now listen. The capital of Agartha is surrounded with towns of high priests and scientists. It reminds one of the Lhasa, where the palace of the Dalai Lama, the Potala, is the top of the mountain covered with the monasteries and temples. The throne of the king of the world is surrounded by millions of incarnated gods. The throne of the king of the world is surrounded by millions of incarnated gods. They are the holy Panditas. The palace itself is encircled by the palaces of Guru, who possess all the visible and invisible forces of the earth and inferno and of the sky, and who can do everything for the life and death of man. If our mad humankind should begin a war against them, they would be able to explode the whole surface of our planet and transform it into deserts. They can dry up the seas, transfer lands into oceans, and scatter the mountains into the sands of the deserts. By his order, trees, grasses, and bushes can be made to grow old and feeble. Men can become young and stalwart, and the dead can be resurrected. In cars, strange and unknown to they rush through the narrow cleavages inside the planet, which means planes of existence, plane of existence. That's what planet means. All right. So don't get it twisted. Some Indian Brahmas and Tibetan Dalai Lama, during the laborious struggles to peaks of mountains which no other human feet have trod, have found their inscriptions carved on the rocks, footprints in the snow, and tracks of wheels. The blissful Sakhi Amani found on one mountaintop tablets of stone carrying words which he only understood in his old age, and afterwards penetrated into the kingdom of Agartha, from which he brought back crumbs of the sacred learning preserved in his memory. See, this is a mystery of mysteries that they don't want you to talk about. Meanwhile, while everybody's running around here worried about the government shutdown, trying to pay their bills, wondering how they're going to feed their kids, wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage, wondering whether or not these wars are going to continue with Russia and Ukraine and against Israel, against Palestine, the people, okay, and Trump making cuts and doing crazy shit. We've got other things to worry about. There's so much going on, you guys. I'm telling you. At this point, I would tell you and I would advise you, like I've been doing, shut the damn TV off, turn it off. Only pick and choose who you want to listen to and what you want to take into your temple. Now is the time for us to fast. Now is the time for us to meditate. Now is the time for us to come back to center and to go within. The kingdom of heaven is not an external place. It's an internal place. Religion has taught you to look outside yourself. You need to go inward. You need to go inward. It's always been about inward. That's why they distract you to have you going outwardly with these black boxes on your walls and these devices in your hands. And that's why they use the frequencies to monitor you and to control how your emotions are. I'm just telling you, there are a lot of people walking around here who don't have that inner monologue to where they can break free from this. For those of you who can unplug, I would highly suggest you to do so. Again, religion has always had you to look outside yourself. True religion is internal. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You are God and I am God. We are all God's incarnate. It's just we have forgotten who we are and we're cut off from that knowledge, right? Now is the time of the great unveiling. You must listen to what I'm saying when I read these words to you. All right. So it says, he came back from Agartha and he brought back crumbs of sacred learning preserved in his memory. There, in palaces of wonderful crystal, lived the invisible rulers of our pious people, the king of the world, or the Brahmata, who can speak with God as I speak with you, and his two assistants, Mahatma, knowing the purposes of future events, and Mahinga, ruling the causes of these events. The holy Panditas study the world and all its forces. Sometimes the most learned among them collect together and send envoys to that place where the human eyes have never penetrated. This is described by the Tashi Lama living 850 years ago. The highest Panditas place their hands on the eyes and at the base of the brain of the younger ones and force them into a deep sleep, wash their bodies with an infusion of grass and make them immune to pain and harder than stones, wrap them in magic cloths, bind them, and then pray to the great God. The petrified youths lie with eyes and ears open and alert, seeing and hearing, remembering everything. Afterwards, a guru approaches and fastens a long, steady gaze upon them. Very slowly, the bodies lift themselves from the earth and disappear. The guru sits and stares with fixed eyes to the place whither he has sent them. Invisible threads join to his will. Some of them course among the staffs, observe their events, their unknown people, their life, and their laws. They listen to their task, read their books, understand their fortunes and woes, their holiness and sins, their piety and evil. Some are mingled with flame and see the creature of fire, quick and ferocious, eternally fighting, melting and hammering metals in the depths of planets, boiling the water for geysers and springs, melting the rock and pushing out molten streams over the surface of the earth through the holes in the mountains. Others rush together with ever elusive, infinitesimal, small, transparent creatures of the air and penetrate into the mysteries of their existence and into the purposes of their life. Others slip into the depths of the sea and observe the kingdom of the wise creatures of the water, who transport and spread genial warmth all over the earth, ruling the winds, waves, and storms. In Ardani, Dezu formerly lived a Padita Hurtkatu who had come from Agarthi. As he was dying, he told about the time when he lived according to the will of the Guru on the red star in the east, floated in the level covering ocean, and flew among the stormy fires in the depths of the earth. There are the tribes which are heard in Mongolia, virtus of the princes, and in the Lamet monasteries. These stories were all related in a solemn tone, which forbade and challenged in doubt the king of the world before the face of the God. This is the next part. During my stay in Arga, I tried to find an explanation of the legend about the king of the world. Of course, the living Buddha could tell me most of all, and so I endeavored to get the story from him. In a conversation with him, I mentioned the name of the king of the world. The old pontiff sharply turned his head toward me and fixed upon me his immovable, blind eyes. Unwillingly, I became silent. Our silence was a long one, and after it, the pontiff continued the conversation in such a way that I understood he did not wish to accept the suggestion of my reference. On the faces of the others present, I noticed expressions of astonishment and fear produced my words, and especially was the true of the custodian of the library of the Bogdu Khan. One can readily understand that all of this only made me the more anxious to press the pursuit. As I was leaving the study of the Boga, Hatu, I met the librarian who had stepped out ahead of me and asked him if he would show me the library of the living Buddha and used a very simple sly trick with him. Do you know, my dear Lama, I said, once I rode the plane at the hour when the king of the world spoke with God, and I felt the impressive majesty of the moment. To my astonishment, the old Lama very quietly answered me, it is not right that the Buddhist and our yellow faith should conceal it. The acknowledgement of the existence of the most holy and most powerful man of the blissful kingdom of the great temple of sacred science is such a consolation to our sinful hearts and our corrupt lives that to conceal it from humankind is a sin. Well, listen, he continued, throughout the whole year, the king of the world guides the work of the Panditas and the gurus of Agartha. Only at times he goes to the temple cave where the embalmed body of his predecessor lays in a black stone coffin. This ever is always dark, but when the king of the world enters, the walls are striped and fire, and from the lid of the coffin appears tongues of flame. The eldest guru stands before him and covered head and face and with hands folded across his chest. This guru never removes the covering from his face, for his head is a nude skull and living eyes and a tongue that speaks. He is in communion with the souls of all who have gone before. The king of the world prays for a long time and afterward approaches the coffin and stretches out his hand. The flames therein burnt brighter. The stripes of fire of the walls disappear and revive, interlace, and form mysterious signs from the alphabet Vetian. From the coffin, transparent band of scarcely noticeable light began to flow forth. These are the thoughts of his predecessor. Soon, the king of the world stands surrounded by an aureole of the light and fiery letters write upon the walls the wishes and orders of God. As this moment, the king of the world is in contact with the thoughts of all men who influence the lot of life of all humankind with kings, czars, khans, warlike leaders, high priests, scientists, and other strong men. He realizes all their thoughts and plans. If these be pleasing before God, the king of the world will invisibly help them. If they are unpleasant in the sight of God, the king will bring on to them destruction. This power he is given to Agartha by the mysterious science of Om. That's what it says, with which we began all prayers. Om is the name of the ancient holy man, the first guru who lived 330,000 years ago. He was the first man to know God and who taught humankind to believe, hope, and struggle with evil. Then God gave him power over all forces ruling the visible world. After his conversation with his predecessor, the king of the world assembles the great council of God, judges actions and thoughts of great men, help them or destroys them. Mahatma and Malinga find the place for these actions and thoughts in the causes ruling the world. Afterwards, the king of the world enters the great temple and prays in solitude. Fire appears on the altar, gradually spreading to all the altars near, and through the burning flame gradually appears the face of God. The king of the world reverently announces to God the decisions and awards of the council of God and receives in turn the divine orders of the Almighty. As he comes forth from the temple, the king of the world radiates with divine light. The reality or religious fantasy. This is the next part. Has anybody seen the king of the world? I asked. Oh, yes, answered the Lama. During the solemn holidays of the ancient Buddhists in Siam and India, the king of the world appeared 5 times. He rode in a splendid car driven by a white elephant and ornamented with gold, precious stones, and finest fabrics. He rode in a white mantle and red taita and strings of diamonds masking his face. He blessed the people with a golden apple with the figure of a lamb above it. The blind received their sight, the dumb spoke, the deaf heard, the crippled freely moved, and the dead arose whenever the eyes of the king of the world tested. He also appeared 540 years ago in Ardeen Zoo. He was the ancient Saki monastery and the Nargabanchi Karu. One of our living Buddhas and one of the Tashi Lamas received a message from him, written with unknown sign on golden tablets. No one could read these signs. The Tashi Lama entered the temple, placed the golden tablet on his head, and began to pray. With this, the thoughts of the king of the world penetrated his brain, and without having read the emetical signs, he understood and accomplished the message of the king. How many persons have ever seen how many persons have ever been to Agartha? I questioned him. Very many, answered the Lama, but all of the people have kept secrets that which they are saw there. When the Olits destroyed Lassia, one of their detachments in the southwestern mountains penetrated to the outskirts of Agartha. Here they learned some of the lesser mystery sciences and brought them to the surface of our earth. Okay. This is why the Olets and the Kalamuks are artful sorcerers and prophets. Also from the eastern country, some tribes of black people penetrated to Agartha and lived there many centuries. Afterwards, I don't call them black, I'll say melanated. Melanated people penetrated Agartha and lived there many centuries. Afterwards, they were thrust out from the kingdom and returned to the earth, bringing with them the mystery of the predictions according to the cards, the grasses, and the lines of the palm. They are the gypsies. Somewhere in the north of Asia, a tribe exists which is now dying and which came from the cave of Agartha, skilled in calling back the spirits of the dead as they float through the air. Lama was silent afterwards, as though answering my thoughts, continued. In Agartha, the learned panditas write on tablets of stone all the science of our planet and of the other worlds. The Chinese learned Buddhists know this. Their science is the highest and purest. Every century, 100 sages of China collect in a secret place on the shores of the sea, where from its depths come out 100 eternal living tortoises. On their shells, the Chinese write all the developments of the divine science of century. As I write, I am involuntarily reminded of a tale of an old Chinese Bozi in the Temple of Heaven at Peking. He told me that tortoises live more than 1,000 years without food and air, and that this is the reason why all the columns of the Blue Temple of Heaven were set on the live tortoises to preserve the wood from decay. Several times, did y'all hear that? They put the palaces on the backs of the turtles, y'all, because the wood decays. Several times the Pontiffs of Lassi and Ugra have sent envoys to the king of the world, said the Lama, a librarian, but they could not find him. Only a certain Tibetan leader, after a battle with the Olet, found the cave with the inscription, "This is the gate to Agartha." From the cave, a fine-appearing man come forth, presenting him with a gold tablet bearing the mystery signs, and said, "The king of the world will appear before all people when the time shall have arrived for him to lead all of the good people or the world against all of the bad. But this time has not come yet. The most evil among mankind have not yet been born." Chaing Chun Baran Ogi sent the young Princess Ponsip to seek out the king of the world, but he returned with a letter from the Dalai Lama from Lhasa. When the Baron sent him a second time, he did not come back. And this is the last part right here. And I'm going to jump off here. Okay. Here it is. The Hirsutu of Nabachi related the following to me when I visited him in the monastery in the beginning of 1921. When the king of the world appeared before the Lama's favorite of God in this monastery 30 years ago, he made a prophecy for the coming half century. It was as follows. Listen, more and more people will forget their souls and care about their bodies. More and more people will forget their souls internally and focus more externally. Focus on their bodies. We're in that time. The greatest sin and corruption will reign on earth. Yes, sir, it is. The Zayos. People will become as ferocious animals. We're being cannibalized and don't even know it by going into these fast food places and eating this food. But I digress. Thirsting for blood and death of all their brothers, the crescent will grow dim and its followers will descend into beggar and ceaseless war. Its conquerors will be stricken by the sun, but will not progress upward, and twice they will be visited with the heaviest misfortune, which will end in insult before the eye of other peoples. The crown of the kings, great and small, will fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There will be a terrible battle of all the peoples. The sea will become red The earth and the bottom of the seas will strewn with bones. Kingdoms will be scattered. Whole peoples will die. Excuse me. Hunger, disease, crimes unknown to the law, never before seen in the world. It's coming. It's coming. Not to bring it fruition, but I know it's coming. I'm back for this. Okay. I'm back for this part. The enemies of God and of the divine spirit in man will come. Those who take the hand of another shall also perish. The forgotten, pursued, shall rise and hold the attention of the whole world. There will be fogs and storms. Bare mountains shall suddenly be covered with forests. Earthquakes will come. Millions will change the fetters of slavery and humiliation for hungry, disease, and death. The ancient roads will be covered and crowds wandering from place to another. The greatest and more beautiful cities shall perish in 1, 2, 3. Father shall rise against son, brother against brother, and mother against daughter. Vice, crime, and destruction of the body and soul shall follow. Family shall be scattered. Truth, love, and shall disappear. Truth and love shall disappear. Truth and love shall disappear. From 10,000 men, one shall remain. He shall be nude and mad and without force and the knowledge to build him a house and find his food. He will howl at the raging wolf, devour dead bodies, bite his own flesh, and challenge God to fight. All the earth will be empty. God will turn away from it, and over it there will be only night and death. Then I shall send people now unknown, which shall tear out the weeds and madness and vice with a strong hand, and will lead those who still remain faithful to the spirit of man in the fight against evil. They will found a new life on the earth, purified by the death of the nations. In the 50th year, only 3 great kingdoms will appear. In the 50th year, only 3 great kingdoms will appear. And I think he did the math, and I want to say was it 2075 or 2035? I can't remember, excuse me. I can't remember what he said in his video, but he did the math. In the 50th year, there will only be 3 kingdoms. And I'm gonna venture to say that those 3 kingdoms are going to be China, Russia, and I don't know who's the third. Just gonna tell you. I don't know. I don't know who the third is, but it's only gonna be 3 kingdoms. All right. That's what he says. Now this is the last part. Where did I leave off at? Hold on. All the earth will be empty. God will turn away from it, and over it will only be night and death. Okay. Let's see. They will find a new life on earth, petrified in the death of nations. In the 50th year, only 3 great kingdoms will appear, which will exist happily 71 years. Afterwards, there will be 18 years of war and destruction, when the peoples of Agartha will come up from the subterranean caverns to the surface of the earth. All right. So y'all know what time is coming. Afterwards, as I traveled further through eastern Mongolia and to Peking, I often thought, what if whole peoples of different colors, faiths, and tribes should begin their migration toward the west? And now, as I write these final lines, my eyes involuntarily turn to this limb of the heart of Asia, over which the trails of my wanderings twine. Through whirling snow and driving clouds of sand of the Gobi, they travel back to the face of the Nabisi Hatu, as with quiet voice and a slender hand, pointing to the horizon, he opened to me the doors of the innermost thoughts. Near Karakum and on the shores of the Absu, nor one, I see Abse Nor. I see the huge multicolored camps, the herds of horses and cattle, and the blue yatas of the leaders. Above them, I see the old banners of the Genghis Khan, of the kings of Tibet, Siam, Afghanistan, and of the Indian princes, the sacred signs of all the Lamet pontiffs, and the coats of arms of the Khans, and the Olits, and the simple signs of the North Mongolian tribes. I do not hear the noise of the animated crowd. The singers do not sing the mournful songs of mountains, plain, and desert. The young riders are not delighting themselves with the races on their fleet steeds. They are innumerable crowds of old men, women, and children, and beyond in the north and west, as far as the eye can see or reach, the sky is red as a flame. There is the roar and crackling of fire and the ferocious sound of battle. Who is leading these warriors? Who there beneath the reddened sky are shedding their own and others' blood? Who is leading these crowds of unarmed old men and women? I see sever order, deep religious understanding of purposes and patience and tenacity, a new great migration of peoples, the last march of the Mongols. Karma may have opened a new page of history. And that's the end. So I wanted to read that to you. And then he says, and what if the king of the world be with them? But the greatest mystery of mystery keeps its own deep silence. So I read to you that whole back section of this book, and it's called Beast Men and Gods. And I did not read to you the birth of the living Buddha, but what I did read to you is part 5, Mystery of Mysteries, the King of the World. And I would highly recommend you to get this book. I didn't read all of it to you. I just wanted to read that back portion to you because it struck me into knowing that, you know, we are being deceived by so many things right now. And I'm telling you, Chief Red Wolf is going through a fast, and I had to do one for 2 days for this procedure. And I think what I'm going to do is do another one here shortly. I need to. I have too many minds, and I need to do a detox, and I need to fast, meditate, pray, and to clarify some things in my life. So I just wanted to share that quick reading with you guys. I'm ready to jump on here and get to work. But I want you guys to know that I share things because I find them interesting, and I do it out of love. Shout out to Original Lone Wolf with your videos, brother. Excellent content with the screen share. Keep the videos coming, please. Shout out to Fabrice, Chief Red Wolf. You guys know if I don't catch your material right off the bat, I do go back and circle back to you and listen to you guys. You all, each one of y'all have your notebook that I keep up with. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for joining me. This video is a little bit over 30 minutes, and I want to jump off here and wrap up so I can get to work. But I just wanted to share that text with you to give you something to think about, that yes, there are other people in this dome, in this plane of existence that live underground. And make no mistake, these rulers on the surface know about these people. They know what's underground, and they've been working diligently with them, and more importantly, with other races to bring about this great war that they want to have. I'm telling you, they want to create this great AI, this great entity, this great antichrist to battle the creator of all. All right. So there are multiple extraterrestrial races. There's no need to even question whether or not we are alone. We've never been alone. Okay. We've never been alone. So stop thinking that we have to go to outer space and we have to send a signal out and they're going to come back and follow us. No, the joke is on us. They've always been here monitoring us and watching us. Okay. They walk among us. All right. There's multiple extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings, disembodied souls. I'm telling you, this world is so much more fantastical than the biggest Hollywood production movie ever. I'm just telling you. It is a Truman Show, right? And once you know, you know. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you got something out of that reading, and I hope you check out yesterday's reading. I was on one. For those of you who have not seen it, I would just drop something. Remember the word I said, ladies and gentlemen, Jaquan, the changer, the shapeshifter. If you don't remember anything from that video, remember that name. Anyway, as you always know, I always say it in love. Remember, you be the change you want to see all around this earth dome, because it's up to you and I to make that positive change. We are all sentient beings, with a free will to choose. And I say, choose yourself, choose the creator of all, and most importantly, do what you need to do to sustain your life and to make the changes that will allow you to ascend, right? All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.